Well, I haven't done one of these types of videos in a long while, and this is a video that I've had like in the back of my head for a while now, and my girlfriend isn't home, so let's not waste any more time. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, I don't know how you would, but if you do, consider dropping a like, leaving a comment, and maybe subscribing. No, one of the dogs was sleeping on the couch next to me. I may have shown this in a previous video that I released. I may be recording this video very briefly after having recorded that one. But anyway, check out the merchandise, consider becoming a channel member if you wish to support me in any way. I don't want to drag that on and on forever and ever.
Forever and ever, amen.
So what am I going to be covering in this video? Well, it's a shedding tears video, and I want to talk about many different animals. All of the animals that I have either interacted with a lot, that my parents have owned, or that I have owned. As of recently being sometime between January of 2024 and today's date, June 21st, 2025, animals that I have been the sovereign of in tandem with my current girlfriend. This tier list is going to be entirely custom. I made all of these icons and I am the only one who has access to this tier list, but I wanted to make a video on this. Obviously, you can't exactly share your own thoughts on these specific animals, but if you have any relevant thoughts, leave them in the comment section below. Consider this a silly little thing to kind of relax and unwind to. I just want to talk about dogs and cats,
living together,
and guinea pig,
mass hysteria,
and what have you. And as you can see right above my head, two of the Godzilla Brawler channel characters are Mr. Dog, the guardian of the guinea pigs, and Fuji, the ultra cat. Silly, yes, but they are based off of real animals that are included in this tier list, and I will point that out as is necessary. The tiers are really just from best to worst, and the first tier is literally only there to include me, because I am the sovereign. I am the king of this castle. Not all of these animals presently live here. Like I said, I'll explain as I go, but I have included myself as an icon because there is that saying slash mantra that all men are dogs. So if that is true, then technically that makes me a dog, which therefore means that I am a pet because dogs are pet, at least in the context of this video. I just wanted to say that, include that. It's stupid, okay? I'm having fun with this.
If it's not fun, why bother?
Dumpling, if you're watching this, please don't get mad at me. I think Remmy wants to be part of the video. And yes, if you've looked at the icons, Remmy is included on the tier list. Kind of fitting that she would get so vocal right as I started recording this list. Go lay down. I don't want to lay down. And you're a good girl. Or not. Don't get on the couch. That is going to be such a nightmare to edit. Thank you, Remmy. Well, I guess I should start by saying that Remmy is one of the best dogs that I've ever dealt with. I never thought that I would have a dog sleep in the bed with me on a regular basis until my current girlfriend started going out with me, and Remmy and her were kind of a package deal. But my immediate family, we've never had inside dogs. All of our dogs have been outside dogs because we had somewhere between 9 and 13 acres of land and we needed a guard dog. Now, I'm sure all of the canine experts and dog people would take some kind of issue with that because I know my girlfriend has, but let me just go through some of them. Judah Ben-Hur, named based on the character from the movie Ben-Hur, the one with Charlton Heston, not any of the other versions of it. Judah's picture is blurred out in the icon because Judah was our family dog. When I was so young, I barely even remember Judah. All I know is that some guy riding a bike tried to come up into the yard, and my mom said that I was very young at the time, and this guy that came up in the yard seemed like he was on drugs or was disturbed in some other kind of way, and Judah kind of protected me. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna put Judah in solid because he was a good dog, don't get me wrong, but I have no real fully formed memories.
Scatter pictures
life of Judah. His name was, frankly, the best part of him and is really the only thing I remember about him, aside from the instance where he protected me, which was his job. He was a guard dog. After Judah, we went through a rough gamut of different dogs. I don't remember what all of them looked like, and I don't have pictures of them on hand, so you'll excuse some of these icons. Max was a horrible dog, and I must not have moved all the icons correct. Max was like a half lab Labrador Retriever, half something else mix, and he was just an idiot. I just don't have any fond memories of him at all. We got rid of him. I think some guy from New Jersey ended up adopting him / buying him from us, my family, and he loved Max. I think I may be getting him confused with Willie, who was also horrible, but I'm going to put him left of Max, therefore making him higher ranking in this tier list. I remember only one thing about Willie, aside from the fact that he was a black lab. Can you tell what breed of dog my immediate family preferred? We had an electric fence sometime after Judah, and we had a lot of field, and we would take the dogs for walks, and I remember walking Dixon dog / the inspiration for Mr. Dog, who we haven't gotten to yet, a lot shortly after I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and around the time that I was attending physical therapy for it. Willie, though, Willie would get so close to the underground electric fence that Dad installed around the 9 acres that we could walk on the property. Willie wore like a rut in the grass in the field. Like, it lasted for probably 6 months after he ended up getting sold. And like I said, I can't remember if it was Max or Willie that we ended up selling to some guy in a state far removed from our house, but he was only moderately improved as a companion and as a pet and as a guard dog. Then, at some point, my 6th grade teacher sold us the dog Jessie.
You know I wish that I had Jessie's girl.
Jessie was relatively old in comparison to all the other dogs that I have talked about so far, excluding Remmy, because Jessie was already kind of fully grown up and already trained by said teacher that I just mentioned before we got her. As a result, she was rather obstinate. She didn't listen super great, but otherwise, she was a pretty good dog. Her biggest fault, and I can't really outright label it as a fault, was that she was scared of thunderstorms, and when we would have thunderstorms, the underground electric fence would occasionally lose power and shut off completely.
Meltdown! Team 2, repair your generator immediately!
And because Jessie was a bit of a scaredy cat in regards to thunderstorms, she would venture off of the property because there was an animal shelter downwind, or I guess upwind, from the house where I grew up, and so when the power would go out and the underground electric fence stopped working, she would cross the line and go in the direction of the dog shelter, and there was a road between our house and the dog shelter, and it pains me to say, but she got run over, or not run over, she got hit trying to find the dog shelter at some point, so we lost her. Now, at the same time that we had her, although separated by at least a few months, we also got a dog from that teacher because she bred dogs named Millie, and Millie was a bit of a strange case. I'm not gonna put her all the way at the bottom because I feel like that would be rather crude and insulting based on what I'm about to say. It should be said, dogs are not as merciful necessarily when it comes to birth defects. Millie was in some way mentally deficient, and her mother chewed her tail off, and the teacher that sold us Millie, or she may have even given us her for free, had to separate Millie from the rest of her siblings because otherwise the mama and the siblings would have taken her out. But Millie was incredibly stupid, and the thing is, between Judah and the forthcoming Mr. Dog, as well as Remmy, who came much later, Millie was, I think we did give her to like a family or a couple or something, and they loved her, and we were so happy for that because she wasn't a bad dog, she was just an idiot.
You know, Moral.
And so we were kind of glad to get rid of her because, like I said, my immediate family, my late father and my mother, we were looking for guard dog because on 9 acres of land, you need an animal. And we finally arrive at the inspiration for the Godzilla Brawler channel mascot character, Mr. Dog, Mr. Dixon Dog. And I have to demote Remmy here. Dixon is probably the best dog that my immediate family has ever had, and as of the time of recording this video on June 21st, 2025, Mr. Dog still lived. We got him as a puppy, and he was such an adorable little guy. I wasn't there when Mom, Dad, and my brother went to pick him up, but apparently all of his siblings were very rambunctious and, you know, typical puppy behavior, trying to get pets and attention from the new people. Dixon, as the story goes, as my father would tell it, was not like the rest of his siblings. He just laid in the shade and took a nap, even as a puppy, and he was just chill as could be. And I'm pretty sure the story also goes that my brother picked him for that reason, because he was so chillaxed. And he does love my brother. Like, up until he became a very old man kind of dog, advanced in years, as it were, he would try to climb up into my brother's lap, even when he was far too big and way too grown for that kind of thing. Oh, look at that. Remmy decided to join me on the couch again. What do you have to say for yourself? Pleading the fifth, I see. She's a good girl. Or, as we also refer to her as, the house hippo. Or Remmers. Remmers, you are making this difficult. Do you need to go out? Well, I guess I learned what that was that she wanted. She's gonna go outside for 10 minutes. I have a timer set on my phone, and then I'll let her back in. Anyway, speaking of nicknames, Dixon, Mr. Dog, had so many nicknames. So, obviously, his name was Dixon. There was also Mr. Dog. I can't remember when that one got incepted, but there was also Bluffalopagus. I don't know what the genesis of that one was. And then, this isn't a nickname, but whenever we would talk to the dog, like not commands, just talking to him, you know, because he's a companion, there was an old story that my dad always used to tell about a coworker of his or something who was Polish in terms of ethnic background. Basically, I can't repeat it exactly because of the language involved, but at some point, I started saying to Dixon, Woofski. And so now my brother and I, and before he passed, my dad also did say Woofski to him just like randomly sometimes. It's hard to really minimize how much I, my brother, and really my whole immediate family loves Dixon. And we're gonna miss him when he's gone. He's getting really old. He's up in years, so I don't know how much longer he's gonna be kicking it, but I do not look forward to that day. I was never as close with Dixon as a pet as my younger brother was, / currently is. But yeah, Dixon is not getting booted from this rank on this list. If anything, it's a testament to how much I like Remmy that she gets second place. And I don't think she's moving from that spot either. Then we're gonna enter a bit of a dark time in my own life. I am no longer in contact with the one ex-girlfriend that I currently have at the time of recording this video, but I just want to say to her, I do not mean any offense by any of what I am about to say. Hence, I am going to try to keep things rather minimal. My ex-girlfriend and her family had 2 Yorkies. I'm not really an expert at dog breeds, but I believe these were Yorkies. They were small enough to be picked up, and to be honest, I'm probably just gonna rank them together. Their names were Heather, and that picture is of the actual Heather, and this is Bella. I just used a generic Yorkie picture and blurred it for Bella because I don't have any pictures of Bella. I don't remember these dogs very well, but the reason I put them under Jessie is not because they're my ex's dogs, and I don't know if they're even still alive because I don't know how much lifespan smaller dog breeds have to begin with, but I just don't like small dog breeds. They were fine animals. They weren't particularly annoying, and they were trained well. They were indoor dogs. They're not my dog. They weren't then and they aren't now, so I don't want to denigrate them too much. The only thing I want to say, and it's a positive thing, is that I believe Heather, she jumped up into my ex's father's office desk chair, and I was able to snag a picture of her while she was sitting in it, and I was able to Photoshop her into sitting on top of the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. And though that relationship has been over for a long time and I do not hold hold particular fondness in my memory for that experience. Heather was like the one shining light that I can look back on because I was able to Photoshop her into sitting on top of the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones, which I have not watched as a show, by the way. That ex did get me to watch Westworld, and I only watched season 1 because I believe that was the only season that was out. That ex also made me watch Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, but we're not going to go into that. I thought that her dogs were alright, and that's all I had to say about that. So then, everything from this point forward is an animal that I have interacted with or been the sovereign for since January of 2024 when my girlfriend and I moved in together. There is only a singular instance of an animal left on this tier list that we did not own, nor do we presently own. I will denote that animal when we get to that animal. I'm gonna try to cover things chronologically. First, we have Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe was a solid dog. I will probably, well, he and Judah are kind of here and there. Poe was not my dog. I liked his name, Edgar Allan Poe. But he wasn't really my animal. Oh, I gotta go get Remmy. Well, at the very least, someone other than myself, Remmy, was appreciating the fact that I cut the grass yesterday. And as a person with multiple sclerosis, even riding on a ride mower to cut the grass does take something out of you. And now she's just laying down directly in front of the shelf that holds all of my Godzilla movies. That's how you tie Godzilla into the video topic, I guess. Thank you, Big G. Not that Big G, the other Big G.
God is Jesus.
Anyway, I can't really put either Judah or Poe above one another. Just because Judah was the dog that I grew up with, I'm gonna put him over Poe, but this is going to be a case where I'm going to apologize directly to my girlfriend. I mean nothing negative by that. He passed away before we moved to the current house that I bought, and we had him cremated, and I believe his urn is up on my girlfriend's office desk. He was a good boy. Then next up we had Mylee. Now, Mylee, I'm gonna drop her there for the moment. The reason I'm putting her under Jessie is that Mylee, for some reason, loved to whine and whistle like an air balloon losing air. Mylee was fully grown and she was owned by my girlfriend's sister some time ago. We took custody of her, so to speak, while we were living at the other location that I have filmed the videos in. Actually, you know what? No, she does go where she is because she loved to like square up to me, so to speak. Because due to my multiple sclerosis, my balance is not perfect. So when she would like approach me rather passionately and energetically, I would kind of like wince. And she wasn't a mean-tempered dog. I do not wish to imply that. Do not interpret what I am saying as that. But as a Cane Corso, she was big. And so I was naturally a little bit leery if she wanted to roughhouse play, which she did do with my girlfriend from time to time. She learned through doing that to me that she could mess with me. So that's point number one. And then point number two is, like I said, she would whistle like a deflating balloon if she didn't get attention. And it was annoying, especially at nighttime when you're trying to sleep. I'm not trying to air my dirty laundry. I'm just saying. Oh, I skipped over one. Shobi is a case where I just lack sufficient evidence. She was a dog. She was owned by my girlfriend's parents, my current girlfriend. We watched her for like a month and a half, I think. I think that was around the time I got laid off and my girlfriend had a job. And so she basically just told her parents, I can't watch the dog anymore. But I think they had gotten whatever situation they had going on figured out by that point. So we were able to give them the dog back without any issue. Shobi was fine. She was an indoor dog though, and that was earlier on in the relationship that I currently have. And so I wasn't really super big on it. Certainly not to the extent that I love and appreciate Remmy. Anyways, next I think was Raven. Raven and Millie are kind of like Judah and Poe in that it doesn't really matter in what order I tier rank them. I guess since I got to experience what it was like for Raven to be a puppy, she gets bonus points for that. Also, I was the one that named her because because if you can't tell from the icons, Poe, Mr. Poe, as well as Mylee were both / are both cane corsos. Raven was also a cane corso, and she was black just like Poeboiiiii was, and he was still alive at the time. And me and my current girlfriend, we try to name things around specific themes, which we will get to. So I was like, well, Edgar Allan Poe wrote the poem The Raven.
Quoth the raven.
Nevermore.
So I thought, well, Raven is a female name. I was also kind of thinking of Raven from the Teen Titans, but not really. I just knew that's a female character, and Raven was a female puppy, so she wasn't the brightest bulb in the socket. She shows up as a puppy briefly in the first video that I uploaded in my modern era playlist, as you can find on my channel. The Godzilla 2000 and Orga presentation analysis that I did for the Godzilla fan project, Godzilla Save the Earth Melee. She like wanders into the background at some point, and if you go and watch my extensive roster building video for a potential Marvel vs. Capcom 4, as I conceived as possible at the time, the brief intermission that occurs in that video was us taking Raven back to the people that we bought her from, because we were some period of time deep into my unemployment at that point last year, and they had expressed interest in having Raven again because I believe Raven was their favorite puppy of that batch of puppies. So we ended up bringing her back to them. I'm gonna take a break from the dogs for a second because this is probably getting a little bit redundant. Sometime after we moved to my previous filming location, we bought a small rodent / small animal cage and put it in my home office there, and included among the first 2 inhabitants of that cage were Rogue and Storm, who obviously were named after female X-Men characters. I was the one that named them because my girlfriend made the mistake of telling me to pick the names for them, and she said to have a unifying theme for the name. Out of the 2 of them, only one of them is still alive because they were older guinea pigs when we got them. Before I continue, me and my girlfriend refer to our guinea pigs as guinnos, and consequently, the Godzilla Brawler channel related guinea pig swarm that MS Chan does have in her house, I refer to them plainly as the guinnos. Between Rogue and Storm, Rogue was okay. I'm gonna put her at the bottom of meh, which is steadily increasing in roster size. I liked Storm more, but she was still a guinno. She passed away probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. She had cataracts, and my girlfriend went up to her office upstairs, and she was just kaput. Rogue just ran away from me every single time I tried to interact with her, and Rogue was in general more vocal. Storm was just rather peaceful and chilled out, and I had never had guinea pigs before we got them up at the other place, and I would say I would probably rather have a million more Storms than a million more Rogue, which is like, well, I would rather have, I don't really have a preference as to which of the female X-Men I would rather smother me with their thighs. At the same time that we got Rogue and Storm, we also got the Bunno, 2 bunny rabbits, who were both male, hence the fact that they were named after male X-Men characters, Iceman and Colossus. Colossus was a jerk. Every single time I would try to just like, you know, rub his head a little bit, pet him, he would just, you know, like that. In contrast, Iceman was alright. I have to say, I preferred having guinea pigs to having rabbits, so that's why Rogue kind of outstrips Iceman. I did regret the fact that we had to sell the rabbits. We sold them to a nice lady and her family, ironically closer to where this house is, but the bunny rabbits were the first casualties of my sudden unemployment in March of 2024 because I was like, I can't afford to keep feeding this many animals. So unfortunately, we had to sell the bunny rabbits, which kind of sucks because I had bought an Iceman sticker and a Colossus sticker that I was going to attach to the side of their cage, you know, stick up, but we sold them before I could do that. So now I just have the stickers up in my office upstairs. I probably will never never used them until, I guess, maybe when I get my next laptop, I'll stick the stickers on the back. And you guys can't usually ever see it, but there's a Remmy. But I always put stickers on the back of my personal laptop. I do not know which artist did Storm and Rogue. I also do not know who did this art of Kobenny-chan. It's that anime girl that can't communicate. Anyway, next up, I believe the next animal we got was Fuji. Now, Fuji is a cat, and I'm not really much of a cat person, but I have shown her off in videos in the past. Give me a second. You won't see it. It'll just cut to it. Thank God for the automatic silence remover tool. This is Fuji. She's grown up a little bit, and she's clearly gotten used to living on her own. Fuji is a bottle baby, or I guess she was a bottle baby. I'm allergic cat, so we have to feed her like special anti-dander cat food, but she is such a cute little thing. And you know what? She leaves me alone most of the time. In fact, that was part of the problem, is that she was trying to run away from me while I was trying to get her so that I could put her in the video. She's a good cat. And she and Remmy seem to get along. You may go. Your people need you. Shortly after we got Fuji, we got a cat named Emiko, who I have also shown off in previous videos, but is no longer under our care. We had to sell her. That was a more recent development because even though I have a job now I have a mortgage, and we can't really afford to have as many animals as we did some time ago. Before I go into all the negative things, I will just kind of dovetail these two factoids. Fuji is named after the female character on the Science Patrol in the original Ultraman series. Again, who do you think gave me permission to name Fuji Fuji? Emiko we got as a sort of companion to Fuji because she was, as I said, a bottle baby, so she needed to be taught how to be a cat in so many words, and Emiko was our answer to that conundrum. Emiko, though, goes into the no tier because Emiko was a nuisance. She would rub up against me all the time. Like I said, I have a cat allergy, and at the time, we did not know about the brand of food that we now give Fuji. Emiko would just not leave anyone alone ever. She harassed poor Remmy here. Like, Remmy couldn't lay down without Emiko bothering her. And the only reason that Raven and Millie, who are dogs and therefore are my preference, go underneath Emiko is because Emiko was at least as intelligent as a cat could be expected to be, whereas those two dogs were like legitimately impaired in some way mentally, and Colossus was just a jerk, and I nicknamed him as a result of that, so that's why he's at the bottom of the tier. He wasn't a dog, so he already got demoted, but he was also a jerk. Emiko was just annoying, and cats aren't really my preference. Then sometime after that, my girlfriend was feeling down for some reason, so we got Jubilee and Callisto, who are younger guinea pigs, younger guinnos, as it were. Jubilee goes into solid, just because I like the fact that she has so much hair. And though she is a little bit skittish, she's not as skittish necessarily as Rogue. The only thing Rogue has over her in that regard is that Rogue is bigger because she's older, so it's easier to grab her out of the cage. Callisto, though, I don't really have anything positive to say about this guinea pig. She's better than Colossus because she wasn't a jerk, and I guess she was less stupid than Millie, but Raven outstrips her by virtue of being a dog, an animal that I like. And it's a shame too. I tried really hard trying to get the Callisto name in there because we were 3 guinnos deep at that point, and I wanted to stay on brand, on theme. So I had to look up a list of female mutants in Marvel in order to even name her in the first place. So it wasn't a lot of effort, but it was a non-zero amount. I think at some point during this period, we pet sat a cat named Cheetara. You know, despite the fact that we never owned this animal, I enjoyed having Cheetara around. Her owner is never gonna see this, but I liked having Cheetara at our house. She was a little skittish, which I guess makes sense considering we weren't her owners, we were just pet sitting. But I mean, over time she got to know us and she was rather pleasant by the time she parted from us. I also really liked her name. Like Cheetara, that's right up my alley in terms of naming scheme. I believe next we got Rollo, and Rollo, I didn't really care for this dog. He was the only other male in the house aside from me. He was just a nuisance. I was a doormat, and you know, my girlfriend loves animals, so she found him on some rescue website or or some Facebook group. The people who owned him couldn't take care of him anymore, so I was just like, fine, whatever, throw in another dog. Although I believe that was after we had lost Poeboiiiiii, so I was a little bit more willing to let another dog into the house because, like I said, I was the only male at that point. I think I miscounted the number of dogs that we did not own, or rather, the animals that we did not own that are on this list. Rock was alright. I'm actually gonna rank him rather highly. I didn't have any sort of special kind of attachment to him, and we really only dealt with him 2 or 3 times. We took him for walks at a local park up where we used to live, but you know, Remmy kind of opened my heart and my eyes to American Bully as a breed of dog. When well trained, I kind of like him. At some point around then, although I think we may have gotten her before Rollo, and in which case I'm doing this massively out of order, we had Akira. As far as I'm concerned, Akira was just Raven 2. She was some breed of husky. I liked her breed more than I liked Raven, but I mean, I was not really a particular fan of Akira. We did have to sell Akira after we moved to this location.
We found in these 4 locations, we are closest to this location.
But again, money issues. We were trying to downsize King's orders, my orders. And thankfully, my girlfriend found a guy who had moved halfway across the country and had to leave his previous older husky behind in the move. And he seemed like a genuinely nice guy, so he bought Akira from us. Akira was named after, I think, the Japanese word for shadow or death. I can't remember. My girlfriend named her. My girlfriend also bought her with her 2024 tax return money, which I didn't get very much of anything from in regards to my own tax returns. And remember, I was unemployed. It sucked. Okay, and now the 2 most recent ones. So the reason my girlfriend is not here is that she took Retta up to go see the friend of my girlfriend who gave her to us. Retta is in the same class as Akira and Raven, and I hate to say that. Like I said, I'm probably never going to be able to show this video to my girlfriend. I guess I have a little bit of Remmy bias here because I have grown, like I said, to quite like their breed, and maybe it's just the fact that Retta is a puppy, but man, she will not shut up. I guess it doesn't help that she was in the same room as Mylee a lot of the time, and like I said, Mylee liked to whine for attention. I guess it's fitting then that her icon is directly underneath Mylee. Hopefully, as she grows older, she will chill out. My girlfriend doesn't really like chill dogs, but that's really my preference, and I really hope that Retta learns to quiet the hell down. I did get to name her though, so Remmy is actually in full named Remington, and that was not a name given to her by either me or my girlfriend. That was the name she had when my girlfriend got her. But Remington, like a Remington rifle, I believe.
Now, this is actually based.
So when we got Retta, my girlfriend tasked me with figuring out a name we could give her. And my younger brother, the one who is very close to Dixon Dog, Mr. Dog, in real life, plays a lot of Hitman on the PlayStation 4. And I believe there's a gun in that game. Don't quote me if I am incorrect. This is just what I remember. There is a gun, I believe, called the Bartoli. It's the really loud gun. I've never played the game, but I love watching him. It's so fun to watch him play. It's so stupid. For the first time, I'm actually going to include a title card for a YouTube short that is gameplay of my brother playing Hitman that I thought was just a laugh riot. We were having a hard time breathing when it happened because I was sitting on the couch as he did it. Anyway, the gun that the Bartoli is based off of in real life, I believe either the Bartoli or the silencer pistol from Hitman, is based off of a Beretta handgun. And so I thought Beretta is a good full name and Retta is a nice shorthand nickname we could refer to the dog as. So we called her Retta. And also there's that old country song, "Hey Loretta, love you more than an Irish setter." And then the last one is Shiitake, a cat, which we did also have to sell. Now, Fuji, the highest ranking cat on this tier list, was given to us by by a former friend of my girlfriend. They had a falling out. All I know is, as a man, female friendship do not make any sense. But Shiitake was a stray that needed a house, a home, and so we took her in. Again, I'm a doormat. Shiitake was okay as an animal. I'd probably put her over pretty much all of these animals. The only reason she outranks Mr. Po in this list is because Po was a fully grown, damn near elderly dog by the time that I met him and paid the bill for the house that he was residing in. And Shiitake was very chill. And if you can't tell, that's like a major positive for an animal to have in terms of their behavior when I'm involved. I have been recording for over an hour and a half, and even when the silence remover removes all of the silence, I don't know how long this video is going to be. 60 divided by 3. It'll be a 20-minute video. That's more than I was expecting for this. There will probably be stuff cut out of this video because I'm going to try to make this as appetizing of a view for my girlfriend as possible. Oh, and one more thing. I made that image of Godzilla walking the American Bully with the Facebook Meta AI Imagine tool, phrase, whatever. So don't crucify me in the comments. I'm not an artist. Anyway, that's about all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as Remmy is enjoying nap time. Take it easy, guys, and I will catch you on the flip side.
I'm Len Quagmire. The universe was created by Mountain Dew Saurus Rex.